actually being able to do something that was allowed for them to do, meaning that they were able to be married to someone. And just because that person is married already does not mean that they are off limits to be married. I know people don't want to hear that. And I'm saying that even for myself. I am a subsequent wife. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's your coach, Coach Nyla, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. So in this video, I'm going to discuss some things about insecurities and being insecure that can lead to jealousies and polygamy, or polygyny, if you will, and give you a little bit of my backstory in a way. So I'll probably put a little bit of a little quick video up about my backstory so you guys can get a feel of what I mean about being insecure. Because for those who actually follow our channel, they'll understand that I am Coach Nazir's subsequent wife, or second wife, if you will. And that in itself had caused a lot of issues between people listening to what I had to say, having their biases against me, and these different things like that. And it caused a number of insecurities in my marriage. It caused insecurities within myself, and it actually caused some insecurities in my business as well. We do OPR, Outstanding Personal Relationships, together. So it's me, my co-wife, Coach Fatimah, and our husband, Coach Nazir. However, because of my position or my timeline, if you will, in the marriage, I've gotten a lot of blowback from people. But it was someone in the comments that made sure that she stated how she felt about me before. And it was fine because I really loved the comment because it showed growth and it showed maturity and it showed someone being accountable for her bias. And so it was beautiful to me. But those are the things that I've gotten over the years, over the last decade, that could have totally caused me to feel some type of way about myself and not feel like I'm worthy. And if you are feeling that way, I'm going to tell you that we can totally get out of that feeling unworthy, whether you're a first wife, a second wife, third wife or fourth wife, that if you're feeling some uncertainty, some insecurities, that is causing you to feel a little bit jealous or feeling like you may not belong, or you're just wondering where you fit in, please stay tuned. Please continue to listen, because I have some tips for you. These are tips that work for me, as well as tips that has worked for a number of my clients. Yes, to actually be a person who's coached. And I've coached before. I've coached women on self-esteem, on self-confidence, on being able to communicate within their relationships and be able to communicate how they feel and just get their point across way before Outstanding Personal Relationships. Actually, even before I was married to Coach Nazir, I've been a coach for women and being able to have women embrace their natural beauty. So the thing is that it all changed for me when I married Coach Nyla, and we actually started Outstanding Personal Relationships and became public with being in polygyny. That's an interesting thing too, because it's not anything about being secret, but I mean to the public, like on social media and forming outstanding personal relationships, doing that type of thing. And of course, this is not the video to really go into a lot of the back history or the backstory that led us to what we do now. We have them on our YouTube channel. Definitely take a look at those. However, yes, there was things that could have been done better, all around the board when it came to being in polygyny, from our husbands' end as well as from our ends as wives. And I'm going to get into that because that can also increase your insecurity when you are not doing things correctly, meaning that you're not having proper communication, meaning that you're so insecure that you are wondering about yourself. So you're not expressing yourself enough, or you're not expressing yourself at all, and then you're bottling things up. Let me know in the comments if that has been you. Say, hey, I've bottled stuff up before and I exploded one time and it was not a good look. Or I bottled things up and I became passive aggressive and it caused some issues in my marriage. So with me, as I had, if you guys seen the thumbnail, it said, I have been insecure in polygyny, but polygyny has not made me insecure. I've been insecure before that. I had a number of different things that made me insecure or that I allowed to make me insecure. But polygyny, it was difficult. It was difficult being a person that was called not the real wife, being called a snake, being called, well, I had issues with you before, people saying that I've had issues with you before just because your presence and how your presence made Coach Fatimah feel. And because I rocked so hard with Coach Fatimah, it was hard for me to even like you or rock with you. So that is just the things that people go through in their lives. But then you have to ask yourself, is that mature? Do we not rock with someone just because they are, that because of their presence, because of how their presence made another person feel? Not that they were mean, not that they were spiteful, not because they were backbiting or slandering or coming in to disrupt and destroy, but just because their presence, actually being able to do something that was allowed for them to do. Hear ye, all my fellow wives in polygyny and polygyny wannabes. Come closer, a little bit closer. Okay. Do you really want fulfillment in your marriage? Do you want to stop the feeling of guilt because you married a married man or because you want to marry a married man? Do you want to stop feeling like you were pushed aside, disrespected, neglected because your husband married another woman? The solution to these feelings and others lie with being intentional and courageous communication, as well as embracing your identity. If you want to find out how to gain success in these areas, check out my gratification through growth, counseling, and coaching at CoachNyla.com. And I'll see you on the other side. Meaning that they were able to be married to someone. And just because that person is married already does not mean that they are off limits to be married. I know people don't want to hear that. And I'm saying that even for myself. I am a subsequent wife. And it was really difficult for me to constantly put that out there because I really felt, and I still feel to this day, but I'm not going to let that stop me. But I felt that it put me in a position of being less than because other people saw it as me being less than, or they saw it as me not being worthy to be listened to. Because of the timeline. So I wouldn't say that much. And I did feel, and it was true at the beginning of our OPR journey, that people were really picking sides. People were gotten a little bit better with, keeping that to themselves, but people would pick sides, and it really affected and infected my business and the things that I do, because I coach and my co-wife, she coaches as well. And we don't coach together. So because people had this bias of my timeline, instead of listening to me as a coach and hearing what I can bring to the table and letting people know that I can actually help them and assist them in different ways of growing, because I've done this well before I became a subsequent wife, well before OPR, that didn't matter. However, I'm like, you know what? That's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to shy away from. I have a lot of women who are becoming subsequent wives, or they have been approached to be subsequent wives, and they're feeling away because they're feeling like they're going to be looked at as less than. Like they're not good enough for their own husband or to be a first wife or anything like that. A wife is a wife is a wife, regardless of your timeline. We don't have control over those timelines. Allah does, the Most High does. So to get over these insecurities, regardless of what your timeline is, I'm going to tell you, one of the things is to embrace your beautiful identity. Embrace that beautiful identity. Well, how do you do that, Coach Nyla? Well, this is how you do that. You look at the amazing things that make you you. You look at those amazing things that make you you, and you celebrate those things. Don't compare yourself to someone else. Comparison is the thief of joy. So comparing yourself to your co-wife, to your sister, to your friends, to other people out there, is just taking away from the amazing things that you have to offer. You know, continue to work on yourself. Work on yourself more than you work on anything else. And that includes your marriage. Because when you're working more on you, your marriage is going to be great. Why? Because you're going to attract that beauty. You're going to attract that greatness. You're going to be able to communicate properly. You're going to be able to attract the beauty. Even if your husband is not on the same page, or that he's not working so hard in improving himself, let's just say that, a couple things will happen. He's either going to eventually be inspired by you, and he's going to continue to work on himself because he wants to be a great man and be a better man and continue to grow because he sees that you can grow. Not stating that, all men just need to follow their wives, because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we also need to do things for ourselves so we can be inspiration to others. We should be able to be inspiring, not controlling. So our husbands can be inspired by us. Anybody can be inspired by us, and we can be inspired by them. So be careful with that. Another thing is being able to communicate properly. Being able to do that. You can work on that. There are different programs. We do trainings on that. I actually coach on that, how to communicate with your husband properly, how to communicate with anyone properly for that matter. Being able to get your point across without seeming like you're being defensive, without being disruptive, being crass, being just a hot dang on mess, right? So I do that because I had to learn to do that, because I was a person that really got defensive on a number of things because I know I work so hard at doing the things that I do and do the things that I do well. But when other people don't see that, it feels away. I get it. I understand it. But sometimes we have to understand that people won't get us. They just won't. And that's okay, as long as we are constantly improving in our lives, constantly improving in our relationships. But we have to do that. So work on yourself more than you work on anything else. Celebrate your wins. Look at how great and awesome you are. Thank the Most High for creating an awesome being such as yourself, and continue to work on that. And I think, those are the main things. There's so many more, but those are the main things. Definitely take time out for self-care. It's important. It's very important. And this is what I mean, taking your meds. That's what you need to do for your self-care. That means meditate, exercise, eat properly. That's that D part, is the diet, and get proper rest. And I'm saying that as a reminder to myself as well as a lesson to you all, because when I have all four of those things in place, I am a much pleasant person to be around, and I'm very productive, and I love the person that I am. as well as the person that I'm becoming. And I know that can work for you. So hope you guys got some great information. You guys want some training on this. You guys want to find out more information about the coaching, definitely visit me at coachnyla.com. But you want to get some deep dive information and get some classes on what I'm teaching and talking about here, go to our campus at polygamyeducation.com. And I look forward to seeing you there. Make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. We can be insecure in anything in life, but don't let it take over your beauty and just what you can offer in your marriage, as well as to yourself in your life. Until next time, I'll see you soon, inshallah, God willing. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.